Okay, now that we have the scroll window working, I've made some changes. So I hope you've played around with this a little bit. Um, I went ahead and changed the delay, and you should play with the delay and just see what it does and see how fast you can get it to animate and how slow, etc. But I've set it to this, which is kind of a good compromise. I also changed the code in the slot roller. So now the range that it's adding is 31, and that gives it a broader variance in how long it takes to run. And I wanted that variance; it'll become important later. But anyway, that's the way it looks right now. And so when I'm running it at this speed and with that variance, it kind of looks like this. Okay. And so that took a little while. Sometimes it goes a little quicker, sometimes it takes longer, but it's actually looking more like real animation now. So that's kind of what we wanted. I've got prefabs open now, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And I'm going to make slot window, the whole slot window, I'm going to make it into a prefab. Just like before, you just drag it in there and it works. And so notice that it changed the icon here. This has now become an instance. Okay, and that's fine, which is pretty much what I wanted, except I'm also going to create more of them. Okay, and I don't like the parentheses when I'm when I'm trying to refer to something, because that looks like it's part of a function. So I'll just rename it to slot window 2, and slot window 1. Okay. I could have also put this in a list like I did before, but I don't really need to for this project. So I'm doing it this way. Okay. So I've got these 3 prefab windows now, and you don't see them. That's because by default they all ended up in the same place. Notice their position is all the same. Okay. Not very helpful, but their position can be changed. So we're going to go ahead and go to the scene. And let's see, I've selected slot window 2, which I'm going to grab this and move it over there a little bit. Okay. Let's see, how much change was that? That was from, so the X position is 119. If I select slot window 1, its position is 0. So if I really wanted to, I could find that out to make it 120. Okay. Which means that for slot window 0, the original slot window, I can make that minus 120. There. Now I've got 3 windows. Okay. And they all work together. But now that means I need a new slot roller function. Okay. And so let's go look at that. Oh, first, let's go back to our game view and see, oh yeah, there's my 3 slot windows. So what I'd like to see is when I pull the lever, I'd like to see all of them run together. And right now that's not going to happen. So if I were to just go ahead and run this right now, pull lever, only one window animates. So that's not what I wanted at all. Okay, so let's fix that. And that means going back to the script. And when I go back to the script right now, okay, roll slots. Oh, that's working the way it should. Okay. This is not the script I needed to fix. What script was it? Let's go back and look at our scripts. It's probably the one in main, because the one in main says, oh, slot window, get component slot roller, roll slots. Aha. So now I need to create some new new game objects. Oops. do. Control C, Control V. Be sure to rename those, so that's slot window 1, that's slot window 2. And then here when I pull the lever, I want it to pull the lever for all three. Control C, Control V, slot window 1, slot window 2. And now you can kind of see why creating a prefab is so handy. Go ahead and save this. Okay. Go back to here and it recompiles everything. And I go here to run it. And this time when I pull the lever, oh, that's not good. What's going on? So we have a problem here, and we need to fix that. So we'll have a look at that in just a second. So you might guess that the problem really is that, once again, I have added some stuff to the main method, but I forgot to add it over here. So I went ahead and drug over slot window 1 for slot window 1, slot window 2 for slot window 2, and now hopefully this code will be happy. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it. Pull the lever. And there, it looks pretty good. Okay, it's going to come up with, wow, it's looking like a slot machine. So this is actually pretty cool. But there is going to be one problem here. Okay, and so we're going to discuss how we're going to deal with that problem and then cover that in the next video. So the problem is that how do you know when it's done? Because you can't look at just one of those objects and say, oh, well, it's done, they're all done, because they run for varying lengths, and you don't know which one is going to run the longest. And so what we're going to have to do is find some way to have the objects signal us when they are done rolling so that we know we're ready to do the next thing. Okay, so we're going to come back to that. The other thing that we haven't done is when I press pull lever, it should actually disable the lever so I can't pull the lever again while it's pulling the lever, while it's rolling. So we want to actually disable that button while it's rolling and then re-enable it when it's ready to go again. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on in the next set.